All right, so now we're back. So for this particular project, I started out with the data set from Chicago. So the Chicago PD released a public data set, and with that data set, it had all of the different crimes with the exception of murder for 2001 until 2024. Now, with that, because the data set was so large, I only put the 2023 to 2024, so the last 365 days. Now, when I downloaded it, it was downloaded as a .csv, or comma separated value, which you can open up in Excel. So if you open it up in Excel, you can see what the table is actually going to look like. And so we're just going to give it a moment to load, but this lets you check and see whether or not it has the data that you want. In our particular case, anytime we want something that is going to be loaded into GIS, we either want an address, which we can geocode, which we'll cover later, or we want some sort of latitude and longitude. They do have to be in separate columns for ease of use, and so we do have latitude and longitude. Now, in this particular case, you're going to want to use the latitude and longitude. There's also an X and a Y coordinate, but this is also a locational data set or something that you can use to locate things on the map, but it's not going to be the universal system. Typically speaking, an X and a Y coordinate is in some sort of UTM coordinate system, which is just one that's very specific for a region. And so in our case, the latitude and longitude are going to be the easiest ones to do. And so to do that, what we can do is we can either go to this map, add data, and find it, or as I did, I just click and drag. So click, hold, and drag it into your project here, and it's going to pop it into the ArcGIS interface. Now what you'll notice is that it does not come up with points or anything that we can use in this case. So I have the crimes 2001 to present.csv. So I can right click on it and open it, and the exact same table that I just loaded in Excel is going to load in my ArcGIS file here. So I still have my latitude, my longitude, and my location. This is what's called the attribute table, and the attribute table has all of the extra information that is not just the location data. Sometimes it has location data, but oftentimes it has all the things we actually care about with our data set. Think of it kind of, if you're a gamer, think of it like the stats of your character. It's not telling you where your character is located, but it is telling you how good it's going to be in a battle. So to get this then into some sort of GIS data set, I'm going to right click on that data set. Now in here, you'll see something that says display XY data. If you're using different versions of ArcGIS, this may show up slightly differently, but generally speaking, it has some sort of table to XY, table to coordinate, display to XY, anything like that. And so I'm going to hit display to XY data in this case, and it should be about in the middle zone, but something that kind of looks like table to point is going to be the thing that you're going to want to do here. Now, in this case, I've got this output feature class, and you can see that in my case, I have this handy dandy little exclamation point here, because for this project, I already have one that I have done this for that is named Chicago Crimes. So the input table is up here. You're not going to want to change that because that's the table that you want to turn into a GIS data set. What you may want to do is give the output feature class some sort of useful name attached to it. You can just delete the entire thing. This is going to save it in this nice foldering system that was created when you created your project. This is one of the reasons why you want to start with a map instead of a temporary file, so that you can do this and you don't have to move your files around. So in this case, I'm going to say that this is going to be the Chicago PD _ crimes. Now you'll notice that I don't use a space, and instead I use an underscore. ArcGIS is a little temperamental, and it's a little bit picky about what things it likes and doesn't like in its naming system. It does not like symbols, and it does not like spaces. So underscores are used, or no spaces are used. Dashes are not used. Dashes are one of the symbols that it does not like. So try and keep it to alphanumeric and underscores, and you're going to make your life a lot easier. Now, if your data table already has a latitude and longitude field, it should auto-populate. If it doesn't, then you can go to the drop-down menu, and this is where you're going to find all of the different potential columns you can use. From there, it's going to do a coordinate system. Most modern coordinates that you get in tables are in this default one, which is GCS underscore WSG underscore 1984. If you have old data sets, things that were made pre-1984, even some early 80s and 90s ones as well, then you may have to use a different coordinate system. But most things after 2000 and pretty much everything with GPS is usually done in GCS WGS 1984. And so with that, you can just hit OK, and ARC is going to go through and put the latitudes and longitudes on the map. This is going to tell you what the status of your data loading is, and will also tell you if there's any issues when you load your data, which when this one actually runs, you will see that it will turn yellow, and it will tell me that I have a couple of different things going on here. So in this case, you'll remember that I said that the Chicago crimes didn't geocode the murders. And so each one of these is one that didn't have locational data attached to it. And so it's telling me that it couldn't put it on the map. There may be other points in there. And so if you find that this happens and you're not expecting there to be data that does not show up, then you may want to go back into your data and see what exactly is going on with it. And so then you'll notice that we have all of these different points that show up. In this case, I can click on any of the points and it's going to come up with all of the information attached to it. So the point I clicked on, there's about 28 crimes over that spot. The one that's at the top here is this motor vehicle theft that happened on September 22nd, 2023. So this is the way that you can get points into your map from a table. Now, they're very difficult to see, which is why we then want to aggregate data and change it into some sort of data set that's a little bit more functional. And so we're going to come back and do that in the next video. So thank you so much.